to Slay the Stars in episode 17. Last time, Zem and Char headed north and made it to the garden, the monastery where Char once trained. They received an icy reception from the people there and started to get the idea that things weren't quite right at the garden. After some persuading from Char, the Grand Keeper Ulrich agreed to allow Zemira's sanctuary within the garden for one night. However, Char's forced to sleep outside the bounds of the structure. Zemira was pissed, managed to not burn the entire place to the ground, and was taken to her room. Char, we're going to pick up with you. You make your way outside the garden proper. What are your plans? I think you said something about maybe sleeping in a tree?
Yeah, which is ironic because Char's actually afraid of heights. But let's but knowing that there are many creatures that are very odd, first of all, from the rumors around the garden, and two, running into potentially a two-headed alligator, I think is what we fought. I can't remember.
It was a crocodile.
Okay, I'm sorry. I love that was the leak. That was the squeaky wheel. That I am going to have to get off of the ground to potentially not have to deal with that as an obstacle. So I'm going to get to the very edge of the garden, and as soon as I get to the very edge of the garden, I'm going to Mulan my shit up a tree.
All right. You do that, climb up the tree. I'm assuming then no fire, no nothing like that tonight, just sort of trying to rest. Are you planning on trying to sleep, or are you going to stay up most of the night?
I think I'm going to stay up most of the night. I'm also going to loop a rope around the tree trunk and tie myself to it just in case I do fall asleep and try to fall out of the tree.
Okay.
Because that would be very not good.
Okay.
Fall damage isn't nothing to eat at.
Okay. Perfect. So Char, you do this. You take all of the precautions. You're trying to stay up for the night. I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, fuck me. What the hell? Natural 20.
All right.
Is that your new die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets 1.
Yeah.
It gets 1. So, con save 21.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fix that. That saddens me. Holy hell.
You are good for the first half of the night. You are staying awake. The adrenaline from being out here is keeping you awake. Every little snapping branch or twig, animal that's moving, sound you hear is sort of feeding into those feelings, and you're staying awake, pumped up. Zemira, you are in your room at the garden. It's a fairly large room, but not super adorned. I explained it last time. There's a little stand next to your bed with a candle on it. You got a bed, you got a little place to write, but there's not a lot of decoration on the wall. I believe you called it a prison.
That sounds like you.
You told Xander off as he was leaving. You called him a bitch.
Bitch.
Just like that.
Yep. You are alone. What are you working on? What are you doing?
Well, okay, so before I do anything, I do want to listen at the door to see if I'm really truly alone or if he just shut the door and is watching. Am I under what?
Under surveillance?
Observation.
Observation.
I went to siege and I'm like, that's not right.
Under siege. Yeah, roll me a perception check.
It's a 4.
All right. You don't hear anybody out there moving around or anything. You don't get a sense that there's somebody on the other side of the door. Nothing like that.
All right. So I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna try the door. Is it open?
Yeah, you try the door and it opens. It's not locked.
I'm gonna let Tora out, and I'm gonna have her go take watch over Char.
Oh. Okay. You let her out. She starts fluttering down the hallway.
My preference is that she stays Char is aware that okay, so Char knows her. And I'm not specifically trying to spy on him, but I don't want her just chilling with him either. So just staying above wherever he's at.
Okay.
Pretends to be a hair clip.
Yeah, just not, Then I'll close the door again, and then I am going to kind of dig through my bag. I have the knuckle bones, the unidentified knuckle bones.
Yeah, the maybe human knuckle bones. Okay.
So I want to start like preparing them for becoming a divination tool. So like I'll need to start carving into them,
Okay.
like all the sides. So there's 5 and like 6 sides.
Okay. Perfect. Roll me a dexterity check.
You screwed me last time. It'll be you. Okay. You said dex check?
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
All right. Yeah, you've never done this before, and they're kind of small, and you're not working with the perfect tools for this. But you get into a groove, and it
Get it?
starts to become
Groove?
like almost natural. And it takes you a while because they're small and there's a lot of sides and it's many details. But you work on it for a few hours, and eventually you will get a set of rune carved knuckle bones.
Awesome. So I'm pretty tired now. But I think that before I go to bed, I'm just gonna like throw them once. Now I don't have like a mat or anything, like even like designated cloth for this or anything. So I think I'll just like pull a blanket off the bed and put it on the ground and then throw them.
Okay, and what is your intention when you're rolling them? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about this place. Um and specifically um ugh. So I'm thinking about Xander, but I want to think about Ginny.
Okay.
So I don't like I lost a die. It's fine. I've got more. Actually, can I have I need to do a different one for all of them. I have 3 different kinds, so I need 2 more.
You need another D6.
Yes, please.
Cthulhu.
They're literally all 1s and 2s. So the
Wait, are 1s and 2s bad?
No, nothing is bad. It's just interesting to me that it's 3 1s and 2 2s. 2 2s. Okay, and what this is going to amount to is element die rolled a 1, which is earth. The direction die rolled a 1, which is north. The time die rolled a 2, which is present. The like feelings die, I guess, rolled a 1, which is happy, which feels inaccurate here. And then the last one, which is like a directional, like action, maybe action, is it's stay. So earth, north, present, happy, stay. And I don't really roll knuckle bones so much, so this isn't coming to me as easily as like tarot would, and it's certainly not as direct as the pendulum, as direct as the pendulum gets. I seem to be pointed north, but I also seem to be saying like happiness is here. Interesting. I don't know if happiness is here now, like in the present. I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of shrug it off, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
All right. Zemira, as you're finishing up, you're collecting your bones, putting them back in your bag, um, realizing how tired you are, getting ready to go to sleep. The door to your room just opens ever so much, slightly. Nobody steps into the room. There was no knock.
Are you going to remain hidden, or are you going to show yourself?
There's no response.
Interesting. And the door's still open?
Mhm.
You could at least shut the door for some privacy.
No response. The door doesn't relatch. No movement in the room.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the door and I'm gonna look outside and down the hallway.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
It's a 13.
You don't see anybody, but you have the sensation of being watched from behind you. Your hair is sort of like standing up on the back of your neck. You don't hear anything. You just have this feeling, and you're not sure if it's because you're scared, if this moment is really putting you on edge, or if there's actually somebody there.
I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this because I'm getting vibes of the masked one, but I don't want to utter her name. Okay. I'm so I feel it behind me in the room.
Yeah, that sensation is coming from behind you.
I'll close the door.
Okay. You shut the
I'm
door.
I'm in the hall.
You're in the hall? Okay.
And close the door. Do I still feel that?
No. Well, I mean, yes and no. You are on edge, and once you have that feeling, it doesn't just go away,
Right.
right? But you do feel like you've put a barrier between you and where the focal point of your fear is coming from. But now you're just in a dark hallway. There's no lights. So, I mean, you can see because you have extended dark vision, but it's still pitch black and you're not sure if there's anybody or anything around you. You're in a weird place.
Can I find my way back to the keeper room? Was that what that was called?
Yeah, I mean, you went directly from there to here, and I mean, it is dark now, but with some wandering, you could find your way there.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make my way that way.
Okay, you do that. We will flash over to Char. Char, even with your Constitution save, you're now starting to get really tired. The past couple days have just been rough, and you start to feel yourself nodding off. You're holding it together, but there's this sense of almost like a hypnotic, unnatural sleep that's coming over you. I need you to roll me a charisma saving throw.
Oh, lovely. So 19 minus 1, 18.
Char, you close your eyes for a moment. And you know when you get those like jumping awake, falling dreams when you fall asleep too fast?
Yeah, horrifying.
You have one of those sensations. And for a moment, you're standing in a throne room. We actually collaborated with Fungin Mapster on Twitter for this map. He makes amazing maps, way better than I could ever do on my
They're
own.
so good.
So good. And his map making streams are just, Jen and I love to go when he has them. His Twitter handle is at fmaster90, the number. So FMASTER 90. Check him out. So, Char, you have that feeling of nodding off, and the doors, these huge wooden doors with bands of metal on them. Roll me a nature check.
Cool. Nature check 13.
The metal doesn't look like iron to you. You're not sure what it is. The doors swing open, and you walk of your own volition into the room. You're standing in the center of this room. You can see this brilliant light shining in through the window, illuminating everything. And in front of you on top of the dais, there's this wooden throne. Enormous. It looks like it was carved out of the wood of one giant tree. And your first thought is like, who would possibly be able to command such a seat of power? And then you get the answer, because seated there on that throne is Zemira. And you wake up. You catch yourself. You have that falling sensation. You wake up. You passed your save, Char. It's up to you if you want to fall back asleep at this point to see what happens next.
Yeah, do it. I want to know what I was wearing.
Girl, I got you. I'm going back to sleep.
Okay, Char, you feel that your heart's beating. It's racing. You just made eye contact with her for a moment, but there was something not right about her gaze. But you have to know what happens next. You close your eyes. You fall back asleep. And the dream picks up right where you left off. You see now, standing behind the throne, there is this enormous golden statue, probably 10, 15 feet tall, of a woman. She has her hands balled and fists at her side. She has this hopeful, defiant look on her face. Her eyes are turned heavenward. She's draped in this like white, I mean, you can't tell it'll be white, but it would be white. This like flowing dress, very ethereal looking, very angelic. She reminds you a lot of Amara. It's not Amara, but the look is like her. And your eyes fall back to Zemira. She hasn't said anything. She hasn't made any moves. She has her hair, her red hair, swept back from her face in these two twists that meet in the back, but then the rest of her hair sort of waterfalls down her shoulders, no longer in her signature braid. She's wearing a long black dress, looks to be silk. It clings to her body and pulls at her feet. It has a V neckline and is completely strapless, exposing her shoulders. But in place of sleeves, there's this black fabric vine that creeps down her arms, starting like mid-shoulder and ends at the backs of her hands. Her skin is pale, and I mean, Zem has always had pale skin, but it's even more so than usual. She looks at you with those bright green eyes. There's recognition there, but none of the love, the light, the goodness. They're too cold. And from behind the throne, a woman steps out. She has that same long black dress mirroring what Zem's wearing, the same gold white porcelain mask from the tarot card. She stands beside the throne and places a hand on Zem's shoulder. Zem doesn't move. There's no reaction on her face. And Adria says to you, "Did you think that it was only her dreams that I could touch? She is sensitive, so it's easier. But the syzygy is almost here, and the door between your world and the hub will reopen. And then, oh, Char, what wonders we have to show you."
So, am I free to speak and move? Or,
Yeah.
Okay. The window. I'm just going to walk over to the window and see what's outside.
Okay.
Just
You
completely ignoring the question.
You walk out over towards the window, and directly outside, this place that you're standing in, this castle, it seems to be on a high precipice overlooking a valley. And you can see where that valley used to be lush and green, and the plant life here is different from what you've seen on Vela. Different sorts of trees, different flowers, but there's none of that. It's all gone. It almost looks like it was burnt out. Things are dark and broken, and where there were small little communities, you can see that the buildings have fallen, and it looks like a place in total decline, a place that declined quickly. And as you turn back towards the throne, Zemira's eyes have followed you, and there's just the slightest hint of that black ichor substance that is dripping from the corner of her eye and running down her cheek.
So, this is what you want. Decline.
No, Charlemagne, this was unnecessary evil that happened here. I have far different plans.
So this isn't now.
Oh no,
then.
this is now. This is just not your where. But as I told Zemira, I can only keep one of you. And with that, you see Zemira move for the first time. She stands up and her eyes are set in this almost hollow look, like she's not acting of her own free will. And you see at her hands that are still at her sides this purple energy that you've seen before when she casts Witchbolt, but it's bigger. It's more. What are you doing?
Does the window seem that it opens?
No.
The door?
The door that you came through has been closed.
Just a quick, glance around the room. What else is visible? What other colors are there?
This room is still mostly intact. You can see this blue porphyry granite floor with the white marble inlay. There are 2 chase lounge couches against the wall, some plant life that still seems to be struggling to live. But in the far corner on the other side of the room from you, there is this purple mass of vines and decay that seems to have leaked through one of the walls and has spread around the room. It's being kept in check, but it's there.
So I guess the question is, does she seem as though she has intent to start fighting?
Yes.
Do you want me to roll initiative because I have something that I want to do?
No. You can act first and then she will act.
Okay. How far away am I? About 20 feet, 30 feet, 60 feet? I don't know how big the
maybe
throne
like
room
25 feet or so.
As quick as I can, just run up and just as quick as I just slap her across the face to try to wake her up. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to cast, what's it called? Eyes of the Night, which is not a spell. It is a blessing that allows you to see in the dark vision. But I'm fully intent on using it as something else.
Okay. You can do that.
You need to wake up, Sam.
As you strike her, her face rocks to the side and she turns back towards you, and you can see just like the faintest trickle of blood from her lip. And for the first time, you see an emotion on Zem's face: anger, hatred. She presses her hand against your chest and unleashes a lightning bolt. It crashes through your body. No save. You fall to the ground, winking in and out of consciousness for a moment. And Adria walks towards you, floats towards you. You don't hear her, but one of the times your eyes open, she's standing there over you. You can feel that pain. It feels like you're actually dying. You're not sure that this is a dream anymore. And you hear her say, "I had much higher hopes for you, Charlemagne, but she will do." And you wake up. You're still in the tree. You're still tied. You feel that pain in your chest starting to subside. And as you get your bearings and look out, I need you to roll me a perception check.
16.
Okay. You see what you think is something shifting in the shadows, not moving through the shadows, almost like in one shadow and then in another shadow. But you're still trying to catch your breath. You're not sure if that's what's happening. And then from below you, you hear somebody call up to you. But first, back to Zem.
Hi.
Zem, you find your way back to the Keeper's Lounge. Finally, you're standing outside the door. What are you doing?
Going in. If the door opens.
Okay. You try the handle, and it seems to be locked.
Mm-hmm. I'm in a dark hallway, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
When you did were you trying to be like quiet, or did you like jiggle the handle?
I jiggled it.
Okay. You jiggle it, it's locked. You start looking down the hallway, and you do hear movement, steps from inside the room coming towards the door.
I'm gonna back up, but I'm still standing. I'm staying there.
Okay. The door cracks open, and it swings open the whole way. And inside, you see Genevieve is standing there. And she's like, "Oh, Zemira, is everything okay?"
My eyes kind of narrow a little bit. I don't know how to explain this, but
Wait, before we even get into this conversation, roll me an insight check. Just for the whole thing.
no.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I'm assuming that's a 1.
It's a nat 1. Yeah, it's a nat 1.
Okay. Continue.
I don't really know how to say this or if I should say this, but I get the distinct feeling that I'm not alone in my room.
Oh, I mean, it could just be because you're in a strange place, but would you like me to accompany you back? Check your room?
Yes, please.
Certainly. And Zemira, I'm sorry if we seem to get off on the wrong foot. I maybe I was coming on too strong. I was curious, wanted to know why you were here, and honest to be completely frank with you, I've had my share of difficulties with Xander ever since I was named Pakat and he was not. I think he's just having a hard time adjusting. You know how it can be.
Yeah, do you think he didn't like it because you're a girl?
I don't want to think that of a coworker, but it could be. He's never taken orders well, even from Ulrich, and I'm concerned that he may or may not, be willing to follow my lead. Honestly, this whole thing has been so stressful. I am proud to be the next Grand Keeper, but I'm just worried that I won't be able to fill those shoes.
So, do you think he's dangerous? Xander?
No, he's just. Xander's been through a lot in his life. He has strong feelings, strong morals. He often leads with his feelings rather than his intellect, and honestly, that's probably why he was passed up for the promotion. But no, he would never harm you or Charlemagne especially.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Um, so you are doubting your abilities to lead here?
Yes, I mean, anytime you stand to have a huge weight of leadership put on your shoulders, it can be a little intimidating. I mean, I remember when I became a keeper, I was concerned about that, and you know, every step of the process comes with its own doubts.
That's fair.
Yeah. Come, I'll take you back to your room. Um, and as you're walking back, are there any questions you have for her?
So how did you end up here?
Oh, um, well, I was a young girl and I didn't necessarily fit the mold of what my parents wanted for me. I My parents expected me to be more of like a debutante, right? They wanted me to marry well and uh, be a schemer, a politician, and I liked fighting. I liked roughhousing. I liked to connect with people and, you know, actually get to know them. It's not to say I didn't pick things up along the way, and I'm not good at influencing. That's one of the reasons I am the Picot, but um I heard about this place and I came here and asked for admittance and I was allowed in by the former Grand Keeper before Ulrich.
I certainly understand having parents that want things for you that you don't want for yourself.
Yeah. To be completely honest, Samir, I know a little about you, and I know a little about your mother, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, it hasn't always been very easy.
No, no, I can't imagine being who you are, who your mother is, and being hunted by who her people are. It would not be easy.
Yeah, well, you kind of just, I guess, keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep moving. That's all I can do.
You say it like it's such an easy thing, but Zamira, it takes a lot of bravery to put one foot in front of the other, knowing that each step could be your last. Most people would be paralyzed with indecision, and you're not. You're here.
I guess I guess I didn't really think of it that way.
Yeah. Give yourself credit. You've survived this long.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you get to the room. You open the door, and Zamira, you immediately step in the room, and it is obvious to you that somebody was in here. It's not like the room is tossed and stuff's everywhere, but things are not quite where you left them. And your immediate first concern is your journal.
Yeah.
And where was your journal?
I did
Probably on
not
the
like the
bed.
way that sentence was structured.
It was probably on the bed.
Okay. Was it closed or was it open?
Actually, it probably was in my bag because I was getting ready to go to bed. So before that feeling, I would have been clearing off the bed in order to have somewhere to sleep. Um, so it's either going to have been tucked into my bag or it's going to be like right near it, but it would be closed.
Okay. Your journal is now open on your bed, and it is open to the page that says, "The dark and the light come from the same place." And it's open on your bed, like somebody was rifling through it. Um, Obviously, Genevieve doesn't know where your stuff was, and so she's kind of doing a perimeter walk around the room, looking around. She's like, there's nobody in here.
But there was because I had all of this away and I like shut the book.
Oh, I I can't imagine who would be going through your room. You must feel so violated.
It doesn't feel great. Everyone told me this was the safest place to be.
Yeah, I usually I would say that it is. Would you like to stay with me for the night?
Resounding no. Thank you for the offer.
Okay, no, I understand.
I'm a little surprised at your reaction though.
I mean, what reaction did you expect?
Well, I would be angry to know that my reputation was being questioned.
I mean, you have a reason for questioning it. I'm sort of in shock myself, and my immediately thought is, who would do this?
Well, yeah, no, I don't mean angry with me. Like
Oh.
if I were you, I would be mad to know that under my role, under my authority, someone is.
I'm, as Xander cleverly put it earlier, dear, I'm not in charge yet, but I suspect that this was him, and the reasoning is far less nefarious than you think.
You think Xander was in here?
I mean, who else would it have been?
Who indeed?
Are you suggesting it was me?
Do I look like an idiot? I just got you and brought you down here. I know it wasn't you.
Well, I'm sorry. It just your whole tone has changed, and I just feel like I'm being interrogated. That's all.
Well, yeah, because you're not an idiot either.
I'm sorry. I am not sure what to say. I am going to go find some people who can stay watch outside your room tonight to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Not to your room, to find someone to come to my room.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so the two of you leave to go to the students' quarters where they're kept in almost like a barrack sort of situation. And she will select a few people, wake them up. You notice that it's almost like military style. They jump out of the moment they hear her voice. They are out of bed. Their beds are made. And they will come with you. Going back to Char. Char, you are still catching your breath. You look down and it's Xander. And he calls up to you. Will you come down here for a moment? We need to talk, and I don't have a lot of time.
Okay. How high up am I in the tree?
Maybe like 15 feet.
I'll do like the hang off the rope that I put and just drop down. If
All right.
he's in a rush. Even if I take damage, it's fine.
No, easy enough. You do so, and you roll me an insight check.
It's probably not great. 8.
Okay. He doesn't talk for a couple moments. And you find that weird because he just said he was in a hurry. But it's almost like he's taking a moment to really sort of collect himself. And he finally exhales.
I'm going to sit down, like at the foot of the tree.
He sees you sit down and he just combs his fingers through his hair. I'm sorry about earlier. I was not prepared to see you there. When I heard it was you, I honestly didn't believe it. I shouldn't have been so angry.
Char's not going to look him in the eyes yet. Just kind of like looking around, seeing what's going on. I didn't know how you'd react, to be honest. And to be honest, you have it every right to. Thanks, by the way, for keeping an eye on her.
Yeah. She is. You know, your wife called me a bitch, and I'm beginning to think that she's right after how I acted earlier.
This is the point where Char just looks him dead in the eye. Just, my wife?
Yeah, I saw the ring and I asked her about it, and she said she had one too.
This
I
is the
just,
only time that Char has ever gotten snarky in his entire life, probably. Just, my wife. Okay.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it was fast, but I'm happy that you're happy.
Xander, oh my God. I'm not married. I'm gonna like
And
hold like my hand up and put it on my cheek and then just have the ring disappear.
you see so many emotions play across his face. He's confused, and then also he realizes like he's an insightful individual. He understands what Zemira was doing. And you see him sort of like almost laugh and relax for a moment. Um, well, that is an interesting trick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Zemira is she's a special person.
You spelled amazing and wonderful wrong, but that's okay.
honestly, I think Char's mood just kind of chills out and he just kind of laughs for a little bit.
Same with Xander. I think this was the icebreaker the two of you needed, and he will sort of
I will
no.
throw pens.
He so like your back is against the tree. He's going to like put his back against the other side of the tree and just sit down. I'm gonna be honest with you, uh, Char. I am I am so glad to see you again, but you need to leave here. You need to take Zemira. Neither of you are safe. Um, I believe I've thwarted the worst of it for tonight, but you can't stay longer, even if Ulrich offers, especially if Ulrich offers.
We don't even plan on staying long. Xander, I fully intend on keeping my promise, and I am sorry. I am.
There's nothing for you to be sorry about. I understand why you came here. You don't have a lot of options, and Char, this thing that you're running from is so much bigger than you realize. This place isn't safe anymore.
How involved in this are you?
Don't ask me that. Don't ask me to answer that question.
Are you going to be the one that's after us?
No. No. Even if it meant that I would be. And he doesn't want to say killed, so he just kind of leaves it hang there. I would never. I would never. You know. You know I would never.
Xander, I don't. Do you remember that flower we found?
Yeah.
We started talking about what we dreamed of the future coming out of this.
Yeah.
Xander, I'll be honest, I don't think I'm coming out of this one.
I don't want to believe that that's the future. So I need you to stay alive. And I need you to not get caught. And I need you to be smart. Because you are smart, Char. You may not have been the greatest monk who's ever lived, but
Xander, I'm a
Stop.
terrible monk.
You were not terrible. You weren't good, but you weren't terrible. And he's sort of like nudging you. Char, there's more to you than that. If there wasn't, you would not be at the center of what's happening. And if I knew, if I could explain to you, I would tell you everything right now, but so much is being kept from me because they know. All I know is that you and Zemira are so important to this, to whatever's happening. And you can't let them catch you.
How close is he to me?
I mean, your shoulders are probably close to touching.
I'm just going to put my hand out.
Do it.
And he'll reach over and grab your hand. Char, I don't want you to worry about this place or me. There is nothing that you can do to make this better. We have sealed our own fate.
You told me of a place once. In Island, I think. Off the Isle. Coming back from the war.
Yeah.
If you ever get out of this, and if I ever get out of this,
Yeah.
do you think we could meet there?
If we both make it out of this, absolutely. I'm done with this place.
So I was going to stand up and pull his hand away. As he does, he's going to use the the ability, the Twilight, that you can. So he can see 300 feet now in darkness. As he's standing up, and he just goes, "Then you keep yourself safe too." And he starts climbing back up the tree.
Yeah. And he blinks a couple times. He's like, that's a new trick.
It's not a trick. And I think that's why.
I think you're right. He stands up and he dusts his hands off a little bit. I have to get back. Someone needs to stay with Zemira. I believe I can trust the woman I left, but I would rather be there myself. I shouldn't have come here to begin with, but
Xander,
yeah.
thank you. And he
Of
just
course.
does not look up.
Of course. Char, you watch Xander leave, and he moves so fast, even compared to you, and you're pretty fast, that it's almost like a blink of an eye, and he's gone.
It's 1 hour, by the way, for him to have that.
Okay. You climb back up into the tree. Are you going back to sleep?
No, absolutely not.
Zem, you head back to your room. You now have 2 student guards who will now be watching over your door for the night. As you are going back in, you look around. Nothing seems to have been disturbed from the last time it was disturbed. And Genevieve says to you, these 2 will let me know if anything happens, if you need anything. I'll be in my rooms. They can tell you where it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good night. And she turns and goes to walk away.
As she leaves, I'm going to flip her off. And then I'm going to turn to the 2 and I'm just going to be like, is she always a bitch?
They look at you, and even with your terrible insight roll earlier, you can tell that they are too scared to answer that question, and they're just like, no, she's wonderful.
Uh-huh. I got it. You don't have to say anything more. And then I like wink at them and I turn around and I say good night and I close the door.
Yep, you do that. What are you doing before bed? Or are you going right to sleep?
I might not have seen you and I might not know who you are, but you better watch yourself because I'm not helpless. And then I'll go to bed.
Okay. Zemira, the only notable dream that you have tonight is you are seated in a carved wooden throne atop this dais, looking out at an audience chamber, the one I described as Shar. It's filled with people, and they're all silent, looking to you, waiting for you to say something to them. What are you doing?
What do they look like? Like, do they look scared? Do they look human?
They look mostly human, some elves, some of. As you're scanning the crowd, you see people who look fey in nature. Wildly elaborate dress, long pointed ears, longer than even a lot of the elves that you've seen. Wild, unkept hair, brightly colored clothes interspersed with some of these humans. And they're all looking at you with this same, like, reverential look, like they're looking at a god.
Am I holding anything? Do I have anything? Or I'm just sitting in the chair?
You were just sitting in the chair. But when you look down at yourself, you're wearing that black silk dress with the strange vine-like sleeves that I described to Shar.
Come forth and bring tithe.
You say that, and they all start to move towards a line, and as they come up, they're leaving small bits of jewelry, gold coins, but the coins are strange, not like the coins of the Empire that you're used to seeing. These ones are stamped with all sorts of strange designs. You can't really see them from here because they're so far down the steps, but it's an interesting thing to note. And you feel a presence move over to your left shoulder and whisper in your ear, "We could lead, you and I. All you have to do," and the voice seems to switch to the other side, "is submit." You feel these hot hands on yours, but you don't see anything. It's like there are two invisible hands guiding yours. You look down and you watch your hands begin to rise, and there's this unseen force, and you go to stand up. What are you doing?
I'm moving without being the one that's moving.
You are standing up, and your arms are coming up from your sides, and you see that purple crackling energy on your hands. Are you fighting it? Are you submitting?
I'm not submitting. And if I can't make the crackling go away, then I'm going to like hug myself. Like I'm not using that on anyone else.
I need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
Oh, thank Christ. 17.
So, Zem, you fight it, and you're fighting it with everything you have, but she's so strong, and you can't overcome it. And so finally, you don't give in, you're still fighting, but you look up to see what's happening, and all the people who are in the room are gone. And there's only one person left standing in the center of the room, and it's Shar. He's looking at you, and there's this look of sorrow, disappointment, and hurt. And your hands are pointing at him. You can see this magic coalescing, and you know you're not going to be able to stop it. What are you doing?
Char, run. You have to run.
He doesn't move. It's almost like he's given up. Like if this is going to be his end, he'd rather it be now. Roll me one more charisma saving throw.
Not you. You.
Was that a nat one?
With a natural 1, not only does this lightning bolt spell go off from your hands, but it's bigger. It's enormous. The bubble of light that surrounds you, this creeping dark mass, erupts from your hands in this line, arcs directly into Char. You can hear yourself screaming in this dream. When you wake up, you're screaming in real life, and the door is open, and those 2 students are standing there, like, looking in the room, looking for who's attacking you.
I just freaking burst into tears. Like I'm just sobbing.
The 2 students, both dudes, are just looking at you, terrified, unsure what to do.
I'm just gonna start like calling for Char. Like, oh, that's the only word that I'm saying. Like, get Char. I want Char. Char.
And the one of the dude that seems to be like the dude in charge, he's like, I can't, we can't do that.
I will start to, like, I will cast fog cloud.
Okay.
Like the
creeping
yes.
dark mass of,
like,
blackness.
So this is flavor, and I will totally waste a spell slot on it. I have no problem with that. But I'm not looking to like completely enclose everything. It's just seeping out of me because I'm so scared, and I'm so like overwhelmed and everything else that I just get him now. I don't care.
They look at each other and they're not sure what to do, and the one's like, you can hear them talking. The one's like, I'm gonna go get the Bacat, and the other one's like, yeah, we gotta tell her, we can't just bring him in here. And Xander steps into the room. He's not out of breath. He looks sweaty. You can tell he was running. And he just sort of like comes in and he's like, well, what are you doing here? What are you? And he looks at you and what's happening in the room, and his eyes are huge, and he's like, what happened?
He's not safe. He's in danger. You have to get him.
And he's like, get out of the room. Both of you go back to the barracks. And they're like, but I don't care what she told you. Get out of the room. And they just take off running, and he shuts the door. And he comes over to you. You're sitting on the bed. He kneels down in front of you, and he grabs your hands, and he's like, I just came from him. He's okay.
I'll take a second to like absorb what he said and take a breath. And then I'll remember Tora, and I'll just say, this might get weird, and I'll look around for her.
Okay. As Tora has finally, because she had to search around for Char a little bit. Char, you are awake. You're back up in the tree, and you see Tora come fluttering down to you and lands on your knee. And so that's what you're seeing right now. Looking down at the moth.
Like, what the hell? Like the initial reaction of, and then, oh yeah, you.
Bug, no.
Yeah.
Bug smash.
And poof, no guts, nothing, just gone.
You kicked my cat. No. He's just gonna reach down and like put his hand down, and he's gonna put Tor on his shoulder.
So once I confirm that like he really is okay, I'll come back to my
Xander's looking at you because your eyes like roll back in your head. He's like shaking you like, Zemira, what?
Okay. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
This place is not This is not what he said it was going to be.
To be fair, it's changed a lot since he was here.
It's not safe.
No. No, it isn't. That's what I told him. I told him the two of you need to leave as soon as you can.
You
tomorrow.
I don't understand. So I know there are forces here. Unseen forces.
He smirks and sort of shakes his head. Yeah, you could say that.
Why do you stay?
Where would I go?
I mean, are you serious? Like, there's a whole world out there.
But this is my home.
Do you think I wanted to leave my home? I wasn't done where I was at.
Zemira, I thought that I could do good here and I could save this place. But that may not be the case.
Char trusts you.
I hope so.
Tell me why I should. What are you doing here? Like, and I don't mean why are you here? I mean, I kind of do that too, but also I don't even know how to phrase words, say things.
Zemira, when I was angry with the two of you for being here, when I was screaming at you to leave, it wasn't because I didn't want to see Char. And it wasn't because of any stupid rule or any dumb order that Ulrich gave. It was because I was scared. For him and for you.
So what is it that's going on here?
I don't know all the answers. There's a force here that some of the monks have found a way to tap into. And it's taking over the monastery.
I don't pretend to know your system, your hierarchy here, but is it causing people to jump levels?
No, but it's nothing like that. It's making people hungry for power in a way that we did not experience in the past.
Is this a spell?
No. No, it's a gift. Or a curse, I suppose. It depends on who you are. Char doesn't know about it.
Were you given a gift?
I accepted what I thought was a gift. I regret it every day. Char doesn't know. You asked why I don't leave this place. That is why.
Can I help you?
I don't think so.
Is it a physical gift?
Xander lets go of your hands and he stands up and he walks over to the candle in the room and he says, "Can you see in the dark as well as Char?"
I see in the dark fairly well.
And he leans forward and he blows out the candle. And when he does that, he disappears. Like, not like, oh, it's dark and I can't see him. Gone.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna, like, hands out, go over to, like, where he was and, like feel around.
Yeah, he reaches out and he touches your hand.
Um,
And when he does that, you can see him again.
if I don't touch him anymore, does he go away?
It's like an at-will thing. He can choose. And right now he's choosing for you to see him.
Okay, so out of curiosity, if you and one of those kids from before both have this and both of you go invisible, can you see each other?
No, it's nothing like that.
Somebody was in here tonight.
What do you mean somebody was in here tonight?
My door opened. Weird stuff happens around me all the time. I assumed it was otherworldly, extra, something else. But it opened and I felt someone in here. And then I left with that person in here. And I went down to the room I was in before. And when I got back, my stuff had been rifled through. And now it makes a lot more sense.
Was anything taken?
I don't think so, but I didn't take inventory. But my journal had been gone through.
All right. And I'm assuming, based on what those morons were talking about when I came in the room, Genevieve knows about this.
Also, like, there was nobody else here. Like, I saw nobody else. So just whoever came in got what they wanted, apparently, and left.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I shouldn't have left you here.
I probably shouldn't have called you a bitch.
Well, you weren't wrong.
Genevieve mentioned that she knew of me. I'm assuming you do as well. At least
to be honest, I didn't. They don't. Just because I'm sort of on the outs with a lot of the people here. They don't always tell me when they get information.
Well, cards on the table. I go to school, I guess went to school at Stellium. Not trying to brag, but I do have more than my share of talents. I also come from connections I'm not super proud of through my family. And all of these things tend to lead me to places that I wouldn't choose to go on my own.
I understand.
I think... Actually, can you tell me who found these gifts? How was it discovered? How did it come here?
Zemira, I don't know. It's been here for maybe ever.
Oh.
It's sort of like a cancer that's spread. I don't know who the first was. I don't even know. I don't know.
Well, what I'm getting at is that the only good thing in my life besides the school, which I can no longer go back to, is Char. And I won't let anything happen to us. So if we need to leave, we will meet with Ulrich and then we are gone.
Yes. Yes, do not let anybody convince you to stay here any longer. And watch out for Char. He's
Good.
He's good. He's too good. Would you be upset if I stayed here tonight? I'll sit in the chair. I don't feel good about leaving you here.
No, I think we have an understanding.
Okay. And he will walk over to the chair in the room and just sit down, and you can try to get some more sleep.
Okay.
And that is where we will cut this episode.
Real quick before the end, Char, instead of falling asleep, is going to say, Adria? It is Adria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Adria, I don't know if you can hear me. And even if it costs me everything, you said you need one of us. I will make sure you get neither. Hey guys, this is Arthur Polino with Slay the Stars. I am back from the infirmary. Don't worry, the back injury is fine. The fireball damage is negligible. Somebody had to revivify, so we're all good. But more importantly, another huge thank you to Fungin Mapster for the gorgeous map. And if you want to add some cool maps like this in your game, check out his coffee at ko-fi.com/FUNGEONMASTER90. He has tons of free maps and deserves all the love. So go throw things his way, get some maps, order some maps, etc. He does some live streams. I'm going to let the links speak for themselves in this case. So go check that out. Now, I am definitely not paranoid that AI Arthur is still alive. So I'm just going to hop off here before any shenaniganery gets set afoot. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. Per somnia ad astra. And as always, stay tuned.
Our awesome intro music is brought to you by the one and only Isaac Viers. Character designs by the lovely Cam Gonzalez. Produced by our very own Leah Hemrick. Graphics designer, the one, the only, the me, Jen Kearney. And last but not least, our audio engineer, Arthur Polino. Thanks for listening.